So you're a small business owner. Congratulations, you've worked hard to get where you are, probably doing many things right, but when it comes to climate change, there's one thing you may be overlooking: the need to go net zero. Here's why it's important. Climate change is the most urgent threat facing us today, and it's directly linked to the economic instability. The good news is that we can solve this problem, but we need everyone on board, including small businesses. Net zero means reducing your emissions to zero. It's doable with the right approach, and many resources are available to help you start. But let's introduce a simple 3-step process so you can get started today. Step 1 is to see where you stand. If you're a small business owner, it's important to understand what's at stake when it comes to climate change and your role in the crisis. This includes measuring your emissions and understanding the tools available to help you reduce them. Luckily, many free online tools can help with this process. Go online and see what your current emissions are. It's an important step in mitigating climate change. Step 2 is to make a stand. Now you know where you stand, committing to net zero is essential. You can start by signing a pledge or joining a campaign like UK Business Climate Hub. Once you have signed up, they can help with guides and tools on how to get to net zero. This will help you stay accountable and make real progress in reducing your emissions. Step 3 is to take action. So you want to reduce your business's emissions but don't know where to start? Here are a few practical steps you can take right now. Perform an energy audit to find out where you use the most power. You can make big differences by swapping out traditional light bulbs for LEDs, installing a programmable thermostat, and using timers to turn off electronics when they're not in use. When evaluating supplier options, consider those whose values are aligned with your company's. Also, be sure to express the importance of reducing emissions and request that they switch to green energy sources to make commitments to emission reduction goals. Unfortunately, transport is a massive contributor to emissions, so look for ways on reducing your reliance on gasoline-powered cars and trucks. This includes allowing staff to work from home, investing in electric vehicles if possible, and encourage public transportation. A quick aside, these actions are not meant to be didactic, they are intended to be practical. Not everyone can afford to move to electric vehicles, right? There is so much room for creative solutions, and you should feel free to make tweaks or invent your strategies in reducing emissions. To reduce the amount of traveling needed for business purposes, small businesses owners can use digital meeting technologies to avoid unnecessary trips. If travel is necessary, implement a train-first policy to offset unavoidable emissions. When looking for transport and data service suppliers, consider their climate strategy and transparency of emission data. This will help ensure that when you work with businesses committed to reducing their emissions and being transparent with their progress, your pledge is slowly working to upstream to ensure everyone is reducing their emissions. As said before, you can think outside of the box. Financial investments, including pension funds, can be evaluated to ensure they align with your commitments. That is a no-brainer since you have to do all the heavy lifting. It would be best if you gradually moved your portfolio away from solutions and projects that add to emissions and focus more on those which help businesses and customers avoid or reduce emissions. Going net zero may seem daunting, but it doesn't have to be. Start by measuring and understanding your emissions, commit to reducing them, and take practical steps to reduce them.